James, thank you so much for joining us today.
Monica, it's absolutely my pleasure. I'm so glad you're having me on.
Well, I would guess most people know you as James, the best-selling author, because you've written 18 best-selling books, including what USA Today calls one of the 12 best business books of all time. And your books, Choose Yourself, Reinvent Yourself, and the Choose Yourself Guide to Wealth, have all gone on to be bestsellers. But what is most interesting is your expertise in spotting the next big thing in investing. For example, you once turned a personal $2,000 investment into profit of more than $10 million by getting into the next big thing in technology. Am I correct in saying you see Bitcoin and these other cryptocurrencies as the next big thing to get into if you're an investor?
Monica, I'm so glad you brought up my background as an investor. You know, a lot of people know me just from my books, but I'm not sure everyone knows my background as an investor. See, I once ran a $33 million hedge fund, a $125 million venture capital firm, and I've sat on the board of a $600 million company. I've written about investing in the Wall Street Journal, the Financial Times, Yahoo Finance. I've been on CNBC, MSNBC, Fox. In fact, not many people might know this, back in 2013, I was on CNBC, and my good friend Herb Greenberg asked me specifically about Bitcoin. This was in 2013. Despite being almost laughed off TV, when I told him this, back in 2013, I set up a Bitcoin-only store to sell my Choose Yourself book. And as far as I know, this was a world's first. No one had ever set up, as far as I know, a store that sold books just in Bitcoin. And now, look around. In places like Japan, more than 250,000 retailers are set to start accepting cryptocurrencies. And since that time on TV, no one's laughing now because Bitcoin is up 610% in just the last year. And it's not just Bitcoin. Ethereum, another popular cryptocurrency, is up 2,400% in the last 12 months. Point being, if you truly want to create wealth that can change your life, you simply must pay attention to what's happening in cryptocurrency. There's $1.5 trillion in government-backed currency out there. That's the demand for currency, 1.5 trillion. People need that cash. The demand for currency is only going to go higher. That's why we keep printing dollars. Meanwhile, there's actually a limited supply of legitimate cryptocurrencies out there. Let's say the market capitalization of one of these cryptocurrencies is currently at 500 million. Now let's say, for reasons I'll explain in a minute, everyone decides to convert their US dollars into this particular crypto. What's going to happen? Well, if you do the math, from 500 million to $1.5 trillion, that's a 300,000% increase in value. And that's real. That's the actual spread between the demand for money and legitimate cryptocurrencies. But there's something else really crazy about this.
What's that?
When this hypothetical crypto goes global, it's going to add trillions more in value. It has to, because that's the demand for it. That's the demand for money. And cryptocurrencies solve the problems that money has, just in the same way in every other industry. Dataism has solved the problems of humanism, which solve the problems of theism. Now, billions, trillions, these seem like crazy numbers, but remember, we're talking about a new form of money. And right now, how much money on the planet is in the form of paper money? The answer is nearly all of it. Of course, nobody can predict what this exact number will be, but based on this model, I'm very comfortable saying one or more of these cryptocurrencies could reach at least 100,000% in returns, and sooner than you might believe. This is why the history of money has to go in this direction, because money is always evolving into something more transportable, more anonymous, and a better store of value. For example, if you have US dollars, you can't use them in Mexico because you need pesos. If you go to a bank, convert your dollars into pesos, someone at the bank knows all about it, and you've lost all your privacy. Then if you actually send your money to someone in Mexico, it has to go through a local reserve bank, the Central Reserve Bank, the international wiring system, the local bank in Mexico, down to the person in Mexico you're sending your money to. Every step of the way, there's transactions, there's people looking at what you're doing, there's maybe government organizations looking at what you're doing. There's so much opportunity for human error, transaction fees, forgery, loss of privacy. So cryptocurrencies solve all of these problems.
You watched what James Altucher, multimillionaire computer wizard and Silicon Valley insider, said about the magical world of cryptocurrencies. Simply put, there is a huge potential for awesome gains in the crypto land. Now let me show you some figures and statistics that can help you figure out what I'm talking about. Today I want to show you that how cryptocurrencies can make you millionaires and even multi-millionaires in less than a full year. For example, let's see how much you could gain if you would invest in Verge just 1 year ago. As you see, the price was 4021 and now it's 15 cents today. And wow, I cannot even calculate this humongous profit. It's much more than 10,000 times gain, peeps. Wow, okay, let's take a deep breath because I have a much bigger surprise for you here. Our money generating cryptocurrency is COLX. Yes. It's much better than Verge in every aspect, and it's only a cent today, as you see. That's why we think reaching 10 cents and even more is not an absurd notion for COLX. Now, before showing you why I claim COLX can be another Verge, let me convince you how magical the crypto land can be. You may have heard of Roblox recently. Can you imagine how much was its price just 1 month ago? Let's check it out. Holy shit, it was only 22 cents and now it's $32. Wow. I think it was $34 a few hours ago. Now do the calculation. It's more than 100 times gain in less than a month. That means if you invested even $100 in that a month ago, you could pocket more than $10,000 a month. Unfucking believable. So you may ask, what the hell is Roblox? Well, it provides you with fast transactions and it's feeless. That's why it's gaining such huge popularity and people went insane. But I don't find it a huge revolution, as we already had Neo that provides you with super fast and feeless transactions. On top of that, you can claim gas every 5 minutes and pocket some money for free. You see, that's all about hype, and you can go and check the price of gas. Well, this infographic speaks for itself. As you can see, the consensus algorithm for Colossus is proof of stake, but for Verge it is proof of work, and for other expensive cryptocurrencies, Dash and Monero, it is proof of work. They have a proof of work algorithm, which means that you need a CPU and expensive GPUs to mine them, but it is not the case for Colossus and Pivx. As you know, people say that Pivx developers are behind Colossus. And that means that Colossus and Pivx are environmental friendly and green cryptocurrencies. Another point that is really important, I cannot overemphasize it, is the max supply. You can see that the max supply for Colossus is 13 billion. But just compare it with Verge, which is so popular and people went insane about that. It is 16.5 billion. But you can understand that whenever the supply is less, the value of your cryptocurrency will go higher. So that's a great advantage for Colossus. And then you can see that it supports masternodes. It has a great instant transaction. And it is super private, as you see that people love private cryptocurrencies like Verge, Dash, Monero, and that's why they gain a lot of popularity among people. And Colossus is super private and it will reward you, and that's amazing, and it is completely decentralized. So it is an admirable cryptocurrency. Last but not least, Colossus wallet is amazing. It is really user-friendly and is really safe. Just compare it with Verge. The wallets are not really user-friendly, and I know that there are lots of people who complain about this wallet. It's really bad. Okay, I don't want to dig into this much more. If you want to see the other features, you can pause for yourself and see how different they are. One more thing I clean forgot about ColX wallet is that you can choose to send money with zero fee if you like. And the good thing is, it still will be transferred incredibly fast in a fraction of a second. Honestly, we tested it many times. And if one day it reaches a huge market cap, which means it will experience a much higher demand for transaction per second, you can choose to pay a little fee to send your money lightning fast, and it addresses your worries about scalability issues to some extent. This feature is missing in its competitors and even the popular Ray blocks. As you can see in the roadmap in early 2018, they are going to provide us with mobile wallets and games for ColossusCoinXT and much more. By now, I'm sure nobody disagrees with me that COLX has the potential to make you an awesome profit. Okay, let's get back into our lovely COLX and see its shiny history. Just December 15, it was 40.99. Now, it's more than 1 cent. Can you believe that in around half a month, it could give you a 100 times gain? I know you need some oxygen to breathe. It's too much. It's too much, peeps. Alright, now the question is where to buy it. You can find exchanges that support it from here. I personally bought it from Coins Markets. That was super easy. After you bought it, just transfer it to its safe wallet. And if you follow them on social media, they will be added on Cryptopia soon. That means that more people will get familiar with Colossus, and we will see another rally and boom, just make profit more and more and more. You must follow the developers on Twitter. They have a great community and they are very active on Twitter. Thanks for watching, peeps. If you liked the video, please smash up the like button and drop us some comments.